Welcome back to TNLP, the newsletter podcast brought to you by the Hazmat Guys. Timmy here, back with the latest in the hazmat world. We'll start with the story everybody's talking about, the Garden Grove hazmat incident in Orange County, California. But what is methyl methacrylate exactly? Denise Daydor of ABC 7 Eyewitness News brings us the following story. The toxic chemical leaking from a large storage tank in Garden Grove is methyl methacrylate, or MMA, a highly hazardous substance that can pose significant health and safety risks depending on exposure, officials said. Methyl methacrylate is used to produce shatter-resistant acrylic glass, paints, adhesives, resins, and plastics. Authorities describe it as both highly toxic and highly flammable, with the potential to become explosive under certain conditions. Orange County fire officials said the incident involves a large volume of the chemical, with estimates of up to 7,000 gallons spilling from the tank. The Orange County Fire Authority noted that incidents involving this type of chemical are rare, with limited case studies available to guide response efforts. It's a respiratory irritant, so it can start off very mild, but it can progress to a point where, yes, you would probably require hospitalization if not more, said Division Chief Nick Freeman of the Orange County Fire Authority. Health experts say exposure can occur through inhalation or direct contact. Short-term exposure may irritate the skin, eyes, and respiratory system, while higher concentrations can cause more severe effects. At very high levels, it can really cause severe respiratory distress and hospitalization. And this is where we really need everybody to heed all the evacuation orders, said Orange County Deputy Health Officer Dr. Regina Chincio Kwong. Officials emphasize that MMA vapor is heavier than air, meaning it can settle closer to the ground if released, increasing the risk in surrounding areas. First responders are also monitoring for the possibility of a hazardous airborne plume, though its size and concentration remain uncertain. We don't know. We don't know in terms if there was a plume, how heavy of a plume, and concentration of the substance would be in that plume, Chincio Kwong said. If that were to happen, we want everybody to be away from the zone that we have created to safeguard everybody's health. Doctors said the chemical's impact depends largely on the level and duration of exposure. In addition to lung and skin irritation, abrupt contact can potentially affect multiple organs, while prolonged or slow leaks could lead to longer-term health effects. People who work with methyl methacrylate are typically required to wear protective equipment, such as goggles and respirators, due to its hazardous nature. While research into long-term health effects remains limited, officials say methyl methacrylate is not currently considered carcinogenic. The substance can also affect animals, including birds, though impacts may vary by species. As of early Friday afternoon, officials said air quality levels were within normal limits, but monitoring is ongoing. No injuries or deaths have been reported. Authorities continue to stress the importance of following evacuation orders as crews work to contain the leak and prevent ignition, citing the chemical's flammability and the limited experience responders have with incidents of this scale. I'm sure this is a story we'll be hearing about for weeks to come. Next up, an unfortunate ending to a fentanyl incident in New Mexico. KOB reporter Alika Medina tells us, New Mexico State Police say fentanyl inside a mountain air home caused a hazmat emergency that killed 3 people and exposed 22 others. NMSP said Wednesday's emergency started as a suspected overdose call at a home in Mountain Air. Chief Matt Broom with New Mexico State Police said fentanyl was the main substance inside the home. Investigators also found methamphetamine and parafluorofentanyl, also known as P4-fentanyl. Shortly after arriving on scene, the first responders that had entered the residence began experiencing symptoms associated with being exposed to a hazardous substance, Broom said. In total, 25 people were exposed during the incident, 20 of which have been treated and released. 2 remain hospitalized at UNM Hospital and 3 are deceased. UNM Hospital Chief Medical Officer Steve McLaughlin said it only takes a tiny amount of fentanyl for a situation to become dangerous. When someone's exposed to an opioid or like fentanyl, initially they will often become drowsy, McLaughlin said. They can actually become unconscious, and then we see their breathing slow down, and that they can, in fact, stop breathing. McLaughlin said fentanyl exposure becomes most dangerous when someone swallows, inhales, or injects it. He said skin exposure usually does not cause serious symptoms, When asked how much of the substances investigators found inside the home, Broom said the answer remains under investigation. Officials also said crews found other substances inside the home. AFR did sampling, and we found two substances in our testing. We found nortriptyline and aminophenyl sulfate, Albuquerque Fire Rescue Chief Emily Jaramillo said. Jaramillo said investigators still need to determine whether those substances played any role. State police identified two of the victims as 51-year-old Mika Rascon and 49-year-old Georgia Rascon. Police have not yet identified the third person, and investigators still have not determined the exact causes of death. Another incident you only hear stories about until it happens to you. Rounding out this week's stories, we'll end in Mobile, Alabama, where the chemical incident at APM terminal has been isolated and identified. Fox 10's Kim Lanier Hunt brings us the story. Mobile Fire Rescue has updated a hazardous materials incident at APM terminal Saturday night. At 9:27 p.m. Saturday, fire rescue officials said the chemical was identified as ethylene glycol monomethyl ether, and MFRD response teams isolated the leak. They also say crews and APM terminal staff were able to successfully contain the chemical on board the ship, and that it is not believed that runoff entered any area waterways. Fire rescue officials said at 8:45 p.m. Saturday they were working a hazardous materials incident at APM terminal at 901 Ezra Trice Boulevard. They described it as an uncontained spill of an unidentified chemical leaking from a 20-foot container. They also said Mobile County EMA and the U.S. Coast Guard were notified. That's going to do it for this week's episode. We'll be back next week with the latest in hazmat. Timmy, over and out.